Hi, so in this video I want to explain how you can actually stake your eHEX on PulseChain. I know that sounds like a crazy statement, and for all of those in the loop, you may think that that's not possible, but it's actually possible right now on PulseChain, just not in the native form that you're familiar with. It's possible through the Maxi products, so Maxi, Deci, Lucky, Trio, and Base. You can just trade your eHEX or wrapped eHEX on PulseChain for wrapped eMaxi or any of the other tokens on PulseChain. So I wanted to go over why this is possible in this video and some of the considerations when actually going ahead and doing this. So as you know, there was a fork of Ethereum, which is now called PulseChain, and that copied over all of the tokens on both chains. So now we have two sets of assets. One is called eHEX and one is called pHEX. They both have slightly different prices and price movement. Both assets, eHEX and pHEX, can be natively staked on their own native chain. So pHEX, PulseChain hex, can be staked on PulseChain, and the eHEX, Ethereum hex, can be staked on Ethereum. But you can't natively stake Pulse hex on Ethereum or eHEX on PulseChain if you cross over this bridge. What you can do though is you can wrap your eHEX. So what would actually happen is when you bridge your eHEX over to PulseChain, what happens is you insert your eHEX into a bridge contract, and that bridge contract takes custody of that eHEX and spits out another token, a completely different PRC20 token called wrapped eHEX, or whatever token you're bridging across. And so that token is backed by your bridged in asset, which is now locked up in the bridge. And that's why sometimes you hear of these bridges getting hacked, because they're such a kind of a target for hackers, because they are actually taking custody of all of the assets crossing over the bridge, right? And minting these new wrapped assets. So what you end up having when you bridge over your eHEX from Ethereum to PulseChain, you are able to stake on Ethereum your eHEX, you're able to stake your your pHEX on PulseChain. But when you bridge over your eHEX to PulseChain, you are not able to stake your what is now referred to as WeHEX or wrapped eHEX. It's a wrapped representation of the version that you had on Ethereum. It has the same price for the most part. So how do we get around this, and what do we do? Well, a lot of people, they just hold liquid wrapped eHEX, or they just bridge in wrapped eHEX and they just hold it liquid. But what you can actually do, if you're so inclined, is you can actually just participate in the Maximus ecosystem, which has already tokenized stakes. And so this is kind of a cool benefit, or unanticipated benefit, in a way where you can actually represent an Ethereum stake already now on PulseChain. And a lot of people don't know about this, right? Like, a lot of people are not talking about this, but what you can do is on the PulseChain side, so you can natively stake your pHEX. You cannot natively stake your wrapped eHEX, but what you can do is you can swap your wrapped eHEX to wrapped eMaxi, and that represents a 15-year stake. Now, you don't have to do 15 years, you could do any other length of time. But this wrapped eMaxi, what is this? Well, it's any Maxi from Ethereum that was bridged from Ethereum in the same way that you bridge eHEX to PulseChain. You can also do the same thing with eMaxi and bridge it to PulseChain. It becomes wrapped eMaxi. The only difference is that Maxi is fully backed by an Ethereum stake, but wrapped eHEX is not. And so the result is that you have a coupon of a coupon for a real massive, a share in a real massive long max length hex stake, right? Because the first level of couponization was Maxi itself. You know, it represents a hex stake on Ethereum. And then the second level is you crossing the bridge from Ethereum to PulseChain. Now you have wrapped eMaxi on PulseChain. So I think this is super cool. The only thing to bear in mind, I mean, all you have to do is buy the token, and then you're staking your eHEX on PulseChain at very low fees, right? And to take it a step further, for the perpetuals, you literally can hold that wrapped version for however long you like, because it's auto restaking, which means like every time the stake ends, so take DESI for example, 10-year stake, when that 10-year period ends and the stake is up, the stake will basically auto restake and you'll be set for another 10 years, and that will happen in perpetuity. So you could be holding a wrapped 10-year stake on PulseChain that's backed by an Ethereum stake for 100 years, like if you so wanted to. So that's really cool. All you'd have to do is buy these tokens on PulseChain using your wrapped eHEX or using dollars or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be wrapped eHEX. You can go from, you know, USDC straight to wrapped eMaxi, which is super cool, and that's just you staking, right? The only thing to bear in mind is that, especially for Maxi, I mean, it's a longer stake, so you don't have to think about it, you know, in the immediate short term. But if you do want to redeem your hex at the end of the stake, you will have to bridge back to Ethereum and go through the process on Ethereum, and then there will be fees there, right? Like bridging fees and so on. So the same with the other tokens like DESI, etc. The only benefit there is that they auto restake, so you don't have to do that, and you could just sell it on the open market on PulseChain whenever you so choose, assuming liquidity is there. So how would you actually go ahead and buy these? Well, on Look Into Maxi, if you just go to the site lookintomaxi.com, you can go up to the top right. There is a buy page on Look Into Maxi now, and there are 3 sets of tokens that you can buy. These kind of reflect what I was talking about just a minute ago. You have your native e-tokens on Ethereum, and then you have your wrapped versions of those tokens on PulseChain, and then you have your native P tokens on PulseChain. So you would just go over to the wrapped e-tokens on PulseChain, and you would then select whichever asset that you wanted to buy, and you can go straight from Pulse or eHEX or pHEX or whatever asset you wanted to, straight into this liquid tokenized coupon hex stake representation, eDESI, which is actually wrapped eDESI on PulseChain, and it's fully backed by an Ethereum stake on Ethereum. So I think that's really cool. Hex staking eHEX on PulseChain is possible today. So yeah, go ahead and have fun, and let me know what you think about this. I think it's super cool, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.